Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Saturday, June 22nd, and we are here trying to help you take the mystery out of your financial life. And one of the biggest mysteries of many people's lives is how and when to claim Social Security. And gang, just a few days left to register to become part of Jill on Money Live, where we are conducting a webinar on Tuesday, June 25th, days away at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our special guest is Heather Schreiber. She is an author. She is an expert. She is the queen of Social Security. She's going to answer all of our questions, but you can only join us if you are part of our subscription service, Jill on Money Live. It is so cheap. I've been looking at people's Substack subscriptions. That can be kind of expensive. $35 for a year? Come on, gang. You got to get aboard this train. Join us. We'd love to have you. And of course, if you have a question about Social Security or anything else going on in your financial life, we'd love to hear from you. All you need to do is go to our website, jillonmoney.com, click the Contact Us button, and write us a note. Today, we're talking to Diane, who's on the line from California.
I'm 67. My husband is 66, and we are retired. And for right now, we're doing really well. Plenty of income, no financial pressures, and that's a good thing. But me being who I am, I'm always concerned about the future. And I'm thinking, do we have enough? Was our planning sufficient? We're good now, but what about 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now? So I just wanted objective observer whose opinion I value to kind of look at our situation and either say, oh my gosh, you have completely lost your mind and none of this makes any sense. Or, you're on a good path and you'll still be okay in 20 years or something in between.
Okay, I can do that. And Mark is also listening with his CFP ears as well. So, Diane, you're 67 and 66. So
Yes.
You're both retired. Tell
Yes.
us about the income that you are receiving. Let's start with the simple stuff. Right now, how about your Social Security?
Let's see, my Social Security is $1,881 a month and my husband's is $2,500 a month.
What other sources of income do you have?
Probably 90% of our net worth is tied up in real estate. And
Wow.
I'm really, really glad that we did that. Jill, I've always loved real estate. I love the tangibility of it. I love the fact that you can touch it, you can see it. We do have some retirement accounts and stocks and bonds, mutual funds, that sort of thing. But I have always been drawn to real estate. And so early on in our marriage, we started acquiring rental real estate. And so now we have, about almost $5 million in real estate.
Of the $5 million, is that all the rental, or is there is a principal included in that? Is there a principal
The
residence?
principal is included in that, and we own all of it outright except for our primary residence. We do still have a mortgage on that, but everything else is free and clear.
Let's take the primary out of it. So the primary is worth how much?
$2 million,
And that has how much of a mortgage?
$555,
And what's the interest rate?
3.75.
So then that leaves me $3 million in rental properties, right?
Yes.
Great. And I cannot believe that's free and clear. That's wild. Near you, do you manage it? Like, how do you work this?
We found out early on that a good property manager is worth their weight in gold. Oh my gosh, that's money that we spend every month, and we're happy to do it because it just takes so much of the day-to-day minutia of managing properties out of our laps. And when the water heater blows up at 2 a.m, we don't even get a phone call. A good property manager is essential in my mind.
Fantastic. So if you look at your cash flow after the property manager, what does it break down to on that $3 million?
I can give you the monthly income on each of the properties, and then
Let's do it. And we can do the adding. Mark, get ready to put your calculator to work. See, sometimes I like to cue him like that so I don't have to do it. Okay, so let's do each. How many properties comprise $3 million?
let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
6. Wow.
Yeah.
6 properties. Give us the list. How much each one?
3 condos that rent for about $1,600 each a month. The HOA fees on each of those, which is about $300 a month. We have a single family home that rents for $3,100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
No HOA, that's free and clear.
Mm-hmm.
we have an industrial condo, which my husband uses for his little sideline business. So there's no rental income. It's just part of our net worth in real estate. Mm-hmm. And then happily, we own half of a commercial industrial building in Las Vegas. The other half is owned by my husband's brother. It's a triple net lease, which is the best thing on the entire planet. The lease on that is $12,600 a month, and my husband gets half of that, so $6,300.
Holy crap! And that's the net, right? So when people, okay, so when you said, just want to make sure I understood this, like the 1,600 times 3, it's 300 HOA for each of the units,
That's
right?
Correct.
Okay, I got it. So it's really 1,300 times 3. I got it. Hey, I can do math with the best of them. Mark, do you have our total for our rental income net of those HOA fees?
If I did it correctly, it's about $13,300.
That's a lot of money.
It is. It is. And as you say, it sounds almost absurd to say, oh my gosh, do we have enough? And Jill, as I say, for right now, we're fine. But
but wait a second. How much money are you spending?
I tallied up all of our expenses and it came to $8,000 a month.
And that's everything.
That's all our fixed expenses. It's our discretionary, and also the $1,000 a month that we are paying on my husband's industrial condo where he's running his business. The HOA fee there, the electric and the cable for his little business site.
You got some grown kids, or you?
We
no
don't.
Kids. Everyone who's listening, do you know why there's so much money here? There's no kids that are sopping it up, because I'm only kidding you. And you also, just for fun, just tell us a little bit about, the money that you have that's in investments, just for the heck of it.
Yeah, it totals about $2.3 million, and it's broken out. We have a big cash position, almost $1 million. Because we sold 2 of our rental properties last year. Jill, we're really trying to simplify our lives as we get older. And then we had 2 properties that we'd owned for years. They were older properties. They were maintenance intensive, and they still had mortgages. And we got to the point where we said, let's just sell them. We're not going to 1031 into another property.
Yeah.
We're going to sell them, pay the taxes, and whatever's left over is ours to spend. So that was almost $1 million right there. And then there's a couple of IRAs at Vanguard with index funds and a pretty heavy cash position there as well. We're rather risk adverse, as you can see.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, you took the risk a long time ago, and it's paid off. I'll tell you that much.
Right. That's right. And then we've got a couple of Fidelity IRAs, miscellaneous stuff that I piled together at the 2.3 million figure. Let's
just have fun for a second.
Sure.
Okay. Let's say the value of the real estate, instead of being 3 million, goes to 1.5 million.
Yep.
And let's just say that all of a sudden the income also drops. Probably wouldn't drop in half, but let's just say that you go from 13 grand to, I don't know, the Las Vegas lease is the big part of it. And how long is that lease?
It still has a little over 2 years to run, and the tenant has been there for, 10 years. They signed a 5-year lease, and then they did a 5-year extension. We have no reason to think that they won't do that again. But even if they don't, we're okay with that.
All right. I mean, honestly, let's just say that you go from 13,000 to, I don't know, 7,500, just for wacky craziness. And let's say that all of that is happening amid a huge stock market crash where your 2.3 million, really 1.3 million, because we know you have $1 million in cash, turns into, I don't know, 500 grand for a while. It just gets lops off there. Yep. So now I'm still going to tell you that you're fine. Absolutely fine. Because even if, and it is so highly unlikely that your rental income goes from over 13,000 to 7,500. But again, let's pretend it does. You have 7,500. You've got 2 Social Security checks. You have $1 million in cash to kind of soothe your soul as we get through whatever this horrible thing, these multiple bubbles explode at once. You're fine. You are fine. There is nothing that you need to worry about at all. I think the Las Vegas property is sort of a unique sort of standalone.
Yes.
I mean, obviously, if if the 3 condos or the single family, if any of this becomes onerous, there is a great case to be made that you pay the taxes and you move on. And when you sold that property, those 2 properties that were sort of the pain in the ass properties,
Yes.
were you surprised at like, wow, this is like heavy duty taxes because of all that depreciation you had to recapture? Or were you like, okay, that's fine?
We were definitely in the okay, that's fine category. It was a lot of money, and nobody enjoys writing a big check to the IRS and another big check to the Franchise Tax Board here in California.
Mm-hmm.
But once those checks were written and we saw what was left, that was ours to do with as we please. Nobody else is going to be able to say, well, you tried to do a 1031 and it failed. And, no, there was no pressure. And that money just sits there happily in the bank,
It's
awaiting
a beautiful thing.
direction.
So I just want to ask you one other question about the 1031. So for those of you guys listening, 1031, we've had questions about this because people who own real estate have been and have owned for a long time. There's an embedded tax liability that exists with a lot of rental property. So there's a part of the IRS code, section 1031, that allows you to take all of the taxable gain that you have and defer it until a later date by buying another property. Now, I've been hearing about folks in your situation who are using a 1031 exchange, but also doing it with a more diversified holding instead of going one property to another. So did you consider doing that Delaware Corporation 1031 where you sort of get fractional ownership in many properties? Or were you like, let's pay the tax and move on?
Definitely, let's pay the tax and move on.
You're in such great shape. Tell me that you've gone and done your estate planning, please.
Absolutely. We have our living trust in place, durable power of attorneys, healthcare directives, all of that good stuff.
I'm so gung-ho for you guys. I think it's great that what you've done. If you feel like the cash is kind of like burning a hole in your pocket, just remember it's a huge insurance policy. It's fine. You don't really need to invest that. You could put some of it in some laddered CDs, but don't go crazy either. Like, it's good to have the cash. You never know. If you've got a financial question, if you've got a big life decision to make, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com, and click the Contact Us button. Don't forget while you're there to sign up for the free weekly newsletter. Mark does a great job with that. It's every Friday it comes out, and a lovely way to prepare for your weekend. You can subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcast. Please leave us a rating and review wherever you listen. And of course, lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.